the research I do is that I'm a geologist, or geochemist actually by original degree, and I study some of the rarest and most odd rocks that there are on the Earth, and they have the name carbonatites, and they're made of mainly of carbon rather than the normal silicate minerals that you see around you in almost every other type of rock. And they come from volcanoes, very special volcanoes, and they're found underneath volcanoes. And they have some of the strangest chemistries of any rocks on Earth, and they're more likely to have deposits of minerals that we want to mine than any other rock type. And at the moment, there's a real big issue surrounding a set of elements called the rare earth elements. And I bet you've never heard of them before. Nobody ever has until now. And they form a series in the periodic table, and you'll see them. If you go and look at your periodic table in your chemistry textbook now, you'll find them there, and they're the lanthanide elements and a couple more. And they're around you all the time in every computer, every TV, every disk drive, in wind turbines, hybrid cars. They're needed in practically all of the clean technologies that we're using and developing today. But they practically all come at the moment from China. And China wants to use them all themselves, and there's a big supply crisis. And so many geologists, including me, are now doing research into where we can find other deposits of these rare earth elements. And that means looking all over the world. So I have research projects out in Africa, I've worked in Northern Europe, in Russia, and we have to put this information together, and I'm looking at how rocks are generated many kilometres down in the Earth's mantle, whether they're controlled by features right at the core mantle boundary, and then how the molten magma gets into the Earth's crust, and what happens when it starts to crystallise, and how all the fluids move around it, and eventually what happens when it's exposed to the surface and weathered, because that's where some of these very important deposits form. So really my job is a big detective story, because the best ore deposits, they're in dead volcanoes. They're not in pointy, smoky volcanoes, as we call them. It's ones that were active millions of years ago, and they've now been eroded away to show us their treasures, if you like, down deep below. And so it's a detective story that I'm doing. And to do that, I get to use all kinds of whizzy, very, very expensive bits of equipment, and I work with colleagues all over the world, and with research students and undergraduate students doing projects. And I work with other geologists and geochemists. And now I have an interest in what we call responsible sourcing and responsible mining. And that means looking at how we go about mining these in the best possible way. And that brings me into contact. I work with all kinds of other people, sociologists and things as well. These rare earth elements that I specialise in are needed for many of the clean technologies that we want to develop now. And so it's absolutely essential that we find more sources of them and get them online and mined as quickly as possible, so that manufacturing industry, people making hybrid cars, low energy types of cars, low energy light bulbs, they need these elements, and we have to be able to find them and get new sources ready for them as quickly as possible.